Hi, everyone. Welcome to One Drop at a Time.
We're a podcast that explores developing our relationship with the Savior and filling our lamp one drop at a time.
Thank you for taking the time to like and share our podcast. Hey, everybody, we're back. It's so exciting.
Yay! It's been a while.
It's been a little minute, and we're excited because we're really inspired to talk to you about Dayenu.
I don't know if you know what that is. I've never heard of it before, but I've been watching The Chosen, and I love that series. And in season 5, there was one episode that kind of talked about the Dayenus all throughout. They sat around and they just kind of covered, I don't know how many, 15 maybe, things that happened as part of their exit from Egypt, as part of their being
Their Passover. So, and they were talking about it in the context of Passover on the show. And as Jenny and I were talking about it, we thought it actually works really well with Thanksgiving too, because it's a gratitude song and it's a traditional song and it's something that they would all know and everybody would know their parts. But we were talking about making it personal.
Yeah, I mean, it applies to all of us. It's a way for us to praise the Lord in some of the things He's done for us. Maybe not the Exodus, but certainly I'm sure we can all think of different things the Lord has done for us throughout our lives that we could create a song out of. So,
So Jenny's gonna share a song right now that she wrote, kind of a general song, and I'll just kind of recap really quickly. So in the Dayenu that they had on The Chosen, it starts basically at the leaving Egypt and goes through all the plagues and through the dividing of the Red Sea and all these things that everybody in their culture would have known. So we are going to talk about some kind of general things, and then we're going to talk about personal Dayenu.
yes. So I'm going to read this to you. I, of course, got to put the glasses on. Hope you guys like this. It would have been enough. And that's what Dayenu really is. It would have been enough.
That's what it means.
Yeah. If I had only heard Jesus call my name, it would have been enough. If he had only lifted me when I was broken, it would have been enough. If he had only given me peace in the storm, it would have been enough. If he had only forgiven me once, it would have been enough. If he had only shown me grace instead of judgment, it would have been enough. If he had only walked with me through my difficulty, it would have been enough. If he had only given me his words to hold on to, it would have been enough. If he had only promised me heaven, it would have been enough. But he did more. He called me, he carried me, and he covered me in love. He keeps giving when I've already been given everything. And for that, my heart and soul says thank you, Dayenu.
That's beautiful.
It's something I think that applies to all of us in a very general way in all of these things that were brought up. We kind of all feel that, don't we? This gratitude of being remembered, this thankfulness that he's walked with us through our struggles. These are very basic, but I was thinking, what if we could do a diet that was more specific? Like, I shared this podcast, this faith bomb last week about sitting in a very comfortable seat in a row of uncomfortable chairs.
This is a padded chair versus a metal chair.
Yeah. So I shared this and I thought, it would have been enough just to have a seat at church. But instead, he gave me a padded seat. That fits in a Dayenu.
Mm-hmm. So in the Dayenu pattern that we get from the Jewish culture, they have a set thing that they're remembering, and it harkens back to when Moses was telling the people when he was going to be separated from them before they enter the promised land. You need to teach these things to your children. Super important that you pass these things on down to generations. And I've long been in awe of the Jewish culture for keeping they're keeping track of their religious beliefs for so long. And it's because of this, well, it's partially because of this emphasis on remembering. So I was thinking, wouldn't it be amazing if we had at our Thanksgiving dinners, because that's a place where we remember and we're grateful, that we could say, it would have been enough if that I was born of goodly parents, parents that were believers that loved me, but they also loved me.
Yeah.
And it would have been enough if they loved me, but they also gave me faith, taught me faith. And it would have been enough if I had faith, but then you answered my prayers. This kind of pattern. So Jenny and I are going to work on Jenny's going to collect some personal Dayenus from other people. And then I think I'm going to try to figure out if there's a way to make a pattern so that you can do it for yourself. And we'll give you some instructions for your Thanksgiving dinner. And then wouldn't that be cool if you wrote it down and then you repeated that and then everybody added one every year?
Yeah, I mean, now you've got some history. You've got something that you can remember every year. I know we've done other things in the past. Sometimes there's uh, get a big poster board and you write something that you're grateful for. And this is very reminiscent of that. It's just done in a format that brings the Lord into this.
So my daughter-in-law sent me a thankful turkey this year. And it was, I don't know, a little circle with a turkey head on it. And then she was putting feathers in behind that her daughter could put in, her little 3-year-old, of things she was thankful for. So she's putting a new feather in every week. And it's kind of funny that everybody's constantly trying to think of ways to make their faith, to bring it alive, to make it solid, and so any little reminder that we can prepare for ourselves is important, but we actually have to prepare for it.
Yeah. So we hope that you'll take us up on this challenge and definitely look for more as next week we share our very personal Dayenus.
Okay, well, do we have one? We have a minute, Jenny. Do you, what's something, what's, if you could, I'm going to put you on the spot. We didn't prepare this in advance. Tell me something that you're really thankful for that sticks out in your life. Like it could be this week, or it could be your whole life. Like if you look back on your whole life, I'm going to try to think of something too.
I think um, that's a tough question. They always tell you when you're doing an interview to say, "That's a really good question." So you have time to answer it, right? So, Kristen, that's a very good question. I don't know. Recently, I was just telling Kristen earlier today, when I struggle, I hold on to these little tender mercies that the Lord gives me. Um, and the more I see, the more I lean into those. When I don't have those, I'm on my own.
Mhm.
I don't have family members that w- want a relationship with the Lord, that even are worried or desirous at all. And I am in desperate need of him because right now he is who I've got. So that is my biggest, I think, blessing are these little teeny experiences, whether they're, you know, um, I founded Jesus, little miniature Jesus to remind me, or whether something stands out in the scriptures just to tell me, hey, I've not forgotten about you. These little things are a big deal for me.
Mhm. Because Jesus is your center.
He's my center.
Right. So, and I mean, that's the kind of, that's the same thing that came to mind for me was, it doesn't matter whether it's a small, I mean, this is not a great story, right? It's just anything that makes you feel loved by the Lord takes you back to the Lord. Yeah. And makes you feel grounded. Like, okay, I can keep going. I can keep pushing my hand cart. I can keep dealing with whatever issues I'm dealing with. Jenny struggles with seasonal depression. Yeah. That doesn't go away. And how do you feel, when that season is coming upon you? You know it's coming and you're like, "Okay, this year, how am I gonna handle that?" "How can I what am I gonna do?" And you go back to your center, to Jesus Christ. Stephen Covey, he's the one he called it a Christ-centered life, where you're not the center of your life. Jesus is the center of your life. And there's lots of rings around your center, but your center is Jesus, which always makes you be like, "Okay, he did it. I can do it. He tells me I can do it." But anyway, I just thought that'd be an interesting um,
Dayenu, if I did my whole Dayenu around all these little,
Christ-centered.
yeah,
And our pearls, our pearls that we talk about in our podcast all the time, what's the difference between that and Dayenu? It's just saving and keeping these special
yeah.
experiences alive and in front of your face, or like a rosary in your hands. It's just like the Lord's constantly trying to help us feel like he's with us.
Well, and I think what a better opportunity to once again share something that's meaningful and purposeful and builds our relationship with the Lord again. We remember it. It's a form of gratitude when we remember it. It's a form of gratitude when we speak it. Now we're creating another way to show the Lord how grateful we are for these things. This song is a song of praise to him, you know?
Yeah, really, it's remember when the Lord did this great thing? Remember when the Lord
Yeah,
did that great thing?
yeah,
Yeah, so be thinking, because that's your assignment.
yeah, and it's a good
Okay.
one. And
Yeah.
and I can't wait to hear it. So I hope you share it with us.
Thanks for listening.
See you guys.
Bye.